Financial Services Subcommittee on Capital Markets will meet this morning to examine Fannie and Freddie's Sea of Red ink and to gauge the process of the mortgage market's recovery. Joining us this morning before the hearing is Congressman Paul Kanjorski, the chairman of the subcommittee. Mr. Chairman, good to have you back. Good morning.
My pleasure.
Interesting time. Maybe we can talk a little politics in a moment. But first, this is not the first hearing you've had into this matter. What incrementally do you think you can or will find out?
Well, I think this is the sixth hearing we're going to have in the 111th Congress. We're going to get a status report from Treasury as to where we are. And, of course, we have to insulate ourselves. We're getting into the funny season now. So this isn't the best time in the world in the 49 days before an election to be making policy decisions of this nature. And quite frankly, even if we wanted to do it now before the election, it would be impossible. But I anticipate we're going to hear a little bit of extreme ideas of where we should go, what we should do, and help us solidify on the committee some of our thoughts.
Are you more interested in the degree to which they can pay back their debt to taxpayers, or how their model should change over time? What's at the top of the agenda?
Well, I think we have to pay attention to the model because we do have to get 15% of our economy, the housing portion of our economy, starting to perform. We found that, it's lagged behind, and as a result, the unemployment rate has remained low. The employment rate has remained low. And we're having difficulty stimulating the economy. We're coming along. Now we have to make sure that we just don't bounce back, do the same things we did to the problem of getting here, but repair it. And there's a lot of substantive change that has to be made. One thing I have to point out, and my friend Spencer mentioned, I hope he pursues that line of questioning that you interviewed him earlier. If there's still 100% loans out there, we've got to stop that. I think we've got to make people, one, we have to be assured that people that are lending money for houses have the wherewithal to pay those mortgages. Two, that they have a substantial disclosure. And three, that we don't go into making social policy and the housing policy in the midst of a recession.
Mr. Chairman, one of the concerns that I have is that Fannie and Freddie are still relying on the same mortgage insurance companies to cover them on the last increment, the risky increment of their loans. And these are very highly leveraged insurance companies, both been downgraded. I don't understand why they feel they're being protected when you have a broken down insurance company taking the last end of risk, but you're directly on the hook for it.
Wilbur, you're absolutely correct, and I agree with you. As a matter of fact, I hope the next Congress pursues some of the weaknesses in the insurance business, particularly mortgage insurance business, but there are other insurance businesses that we ought to be looking into to make sure that we just don't get out of the housing failure and get right into other failures that could be just as substantial to the economy. But I think we're fooling ourselves if we think that by getting that mortgage insurance, we've got that coverage at the high-risk area that we think we have. We really don't have it. And as we fix this market, we should be addressing those very things and potentially inviting in people into the business and make sure they're properly reinforced with the equity they need to support the positions they take.
Primary day yesterday, Congressman, as you know, and heads are still spinning this morning over Christine O'Donnell. This is a line from Mark Halperin's column on Time.com. If the GOP establishment doesn't figure out how to build a bigger tent and still win elections, the price Republicans will pay will be a whole lot higher starting on November 3rd, and then when they try to beat Obama in 2012. Does her victory have you guys salivating or not?
Oh, no. There are two thoughts I have. One, we're too close to the election. I'm a Democrat. I shouldn't be becoming coach or a manager of the opposing team. They've got to work that out among themselves. But, Mike Castle, I've served with him for a very long period of time. He is just an excellent congressman. I think the entire institution and the government is going to suffer a great loss with his loss. I know a lot of us will miss him. Not only that he was a pleasant individual personally, but very bright, very contributing. I don't know Miss O'Donnell. I don't know what her chances are of getting elected, but it certainly is disturbing to see this attention paid to candidates that don't seem to be grounded, to be able to hit the ground and get going. But we'll see. Everything works out in the end, and I hope this will too.
Well, when you say disturbing, I'm not sure what you mean, because it's clearly a reflection of voter sentiment that is genuine, isn't it?
Well, you would think it would be, but no, you know, when 35,000 people are casting votes in a very small state like Delaware in a primary, that is not always representative of the broad thinking of the people of the state of Delaware. I would have bet that if Mike had gone into the general election, he would have had a much greater chance of winning that than he had in winning the primary.
Yeah. What's your best read on the back and forth about tax cuts this week? The Boehner comments on Sunday, the McConnell comments earlier in this week. Is there, last Friday, I think we decided, or at least we posited, that there was room for some compromise, but now that appears to be a little wobbly.
Well, it's true, but you know, I'm for doing away with all taxes. I think everybody is, particularly politicians, should be 49 days from an election. But that's ridiculous. Our real question is we have to get the fiscal responsibility of the government in order. In order to do that, we need both new revenues, additional revenues, and we need to cut expenses. There's no question about that. That's what the next Congress is going to be faced with. But in reality, what we're doing here is the real issue in our economy today is to get our people back to work. Jobs, jobs, and jobs. And it's not worrying about very wealthy people getting 2% or 4% more an ability to keep their money. The fact is, you know, we may have to if we get into a bad situation. I heard someone earlier on the program refer to the Irish situation who have gone very firm in how to recover.
You are such a good viewer. You are such a reliable, faithful, loyal viewer, Paul.
That was an hour and a half ago.
Yeah.
I've got to tell you, you know, you fellas, no, I do have to compliment you, really. You did it. One, you did a great job there. Two, if we have to cut back on salaries, if we have to tax some people more in order to get this government and our economy in shape, we have to do that. And that shouldn't be a Republican or a Democratic issue. That's an American issue. And I stand ready to do that. I think we should look around the world, and Ireland may be a great example. I think it was Wilbur that made that point.
Yes.
Anyway, what we have to do now is, you know, recognize we're in the silly season.
Yep.
We have to go through it.
Okay.
Let's not get too far out there and too radical, but when it's all over, we've got to come together and be part of the American party.
Congressman, thanks for the time today.